Hey everybody, welcome back to Success Secrets Revealed. And today we have a treat for you. We have Miss 2.5 billion plus infomercial TV host and fitness lifestyle guru with us today. But before we get into our amazing guest, and her name is Forbes Riley, I'm sure you already knew that. Before we get to our amazing guest, I want to tell you about Success Secrets Revealed. I created this show because my radio show, Internet Marketing and Business Solutions with Ronald Couming, had 1.6, 1.7 million reach weekly, but because of COVID, they weren't manning the station. So I had to pivot. I wanted to continue to contribute and continue to bring and serve my viewers and my listeners. So I created this show. I'm going to take out the audio, send it to the radio station. So they're not playing clips from 2 years ago. They're playing live clips where we can continue to serve our audience in real time with what's going on in the world today. So I wanted to just give back and contribute. I want to let you know that all the guests that come on this show, they don't pay to come on this show. They don't get paid to come on this show. I don't get paid to do this show. This is strictly us giving back to you. It's our contribution, okay? We're here to serve. With that said, we do have a sponsor who has to pay for everything, and that's RCS Online Solutions. That's my company, and we basically help business owners and entrepreneurs attract, convert, and retain their ideal customers and clients to achieve even greater success. If you can have the best products, the best services, the best funnels, the best websites, if people can't find you, not for your company's name or your name, because nobody's searching for you or your name, because they're going to pick up the phone and call you. They're searching for the solution to their problem. They're searching for the product or the service they need to solve their problem. That's what you need to come up on the first page for. So with that said, I'm going to talk, and that's what we do for our clients. And again, we most of the time, we achieve those results before they even pay us. So I want to introduce again, we have Forbes Riley with us. She is the queen of TV hosting, $2.5 million plus as a motivator and a role model. Forbes has she's a unique connection with her audience, and it stems from her own personal journey. You got to dream it, believe it, and achieve it. We are live.
Hey, how are you guys?
Excellent. How are you?
I am wonderful. I was actually just telling Ron, I just got off last night. I just really reignited my coaching career. I love the fact that I can do this from my living room with my family and friends around. Don't have to get on planes. I was traveling so much. But I got to tell you, just what you were talking about in terms of knowing your pitch, getting your message out there, having something to say, powerfully important. What I've discovered, most people can't do that. They can't articulate, Ron, what they want, why they're doing it, or why it benefits somebody else. And so I'm helping, just like you. In my career, I've sold a little over $2.5 billion. Well, and you've seen me. If you like to stay up late at night, 189 infomercials, from the Jack LaLanne Power Juicer to Montel Williams, George Foreman, Kim Kardashian. I hosted show after show. Like there was a time in the early 2000s where you could, every weekend, I was on like 400 times a weekend. And so I learned the art of the pitch through that. And then I've been on home shopping for almost 30 years, where you have to sell between $2,000 and $5,000 a minute, every minute that you are on live. Talk about pressure, right?
That's amazing, man. And that's like 2.5 billion. But who better to help people learn how to pitch? And in the very beginning, you have to have that hook. The hook to catch their attention, the story, and the benefits. And what I loved about what you just said a second ago is like how to make it convey to them. So one of the things I learned was after you talk about what you do, you say something like, what this means for you.
Well, that's an old phrase we got from home shopping, but I got a couple of tips. Is it okay if I share some of them with you?
Please, we're here for you.
Well, thank you. So one of the first things is people don't actually even say their name, so it matters, okay? So one of the things I found is Forbes is a very unusual name. And I don't like a lot of chit chat. Apparently I'm known as an extroverted introvert. I get a little uncomfortable when we talk about small talk. So I don't talk about the weather or sports teams. I like to kind of get to the point of things and get into people. And that really means a lot to me. So people go, oh, Forbes, what is that? And they start asking me for like 5 minutes about my name. I said, that's not good for me. Hey, everybody, my name is Forbes. Forbes Riley. Forbes as in the magazine. Nice to meet you. Ron, what did I just put in your head? Oh, that she's money, that she's this, that she's successful. I did that in a matter of seconds. Hey, so I'm Ron Couming, and when it comes down to being great on the internet, you don't want to forget Ron's coming for you. I don't know, but something so cute like that.
Nice.
It happens in a second.
Yep.
But I will tell you, they leave going, it's in their head. It's undeniable.
Yeah.
So the second thing that's wildly important for all of your entrepreneurs to listen to, when somebody asks you, what do you do? Don't tell them. Watch this. Hey, Ron, what do you do? What would you say? Let's go back.
I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you how to do it. So, Ron, when somebody normally says, hey, Ron, what do you do? What do you tell them?
I help business owners and entrepreneurs achieve even greater success by getting them results. Or, I mean, there's multiple different things.
So hang on. Okay. And now I'm going to tell you how to make, is it okay if I tell you how to make it better?
Absolutely.
Nobody cares about you until they care about you. Exactly. So, Ron, what if you could get a yes from me in a sentence? What if the question sounded like, hey, Ron, what can you do for me? What would you say?
I could help you make another $100,000 selling the exact same products and services you're doing now, just in a slightly different way.
Stop. The next question I'm now going to say is, how do you do it? And now I care. The first time I asked you, what do you do? I didn't really care. Oh, I do this for other people. No. Now you say, hey, Forbes, here's what I can do for you. I can make you extra $100,000 while you sleep. Are you interested? The answer is yes. So when you ask most people, what do they do? I'm an entrepreneur and a teacher and an author, and I've got a book. Who cares? By the way, when you say the word entrepreneur, I know nothing more about you than before you said it. In fact, I don't say I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a CEO of a multi-million-dollar company. Now, here's the other thing I don't do. You actually want to lead with your icing, not with your cake. And that's where people make a huge mistake. I've done a lot of networking events, and now we're doing it online. As soon as somebody says, what do you do that? I do this, and I work. You stop listening because they don't understand the art of engagement and rapport. I've made what I've done because I understand this little secret that most people just miss. It's like missing the exit on a freeway. You got to go miles, and you guys go too far. I'm happy to go, bye. Come back here if you want to learn something. So Ron asked me what I do.
Forbes, what do you do?
Well, I'm not going to tell you that I've grossed $2.5 billion because that's intimidating. I'm not going to say I've done lots of infomercials or tell you that I started the X Games and that I've had 2 national talk shows and I do theater and I've got. Why do you care? So I don't do that, right? Ask me what I do.
Forbes, what do you do?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I created the greatest fitness product on the planet. Do you want to see it?
Absolutely.
Give me your thumbs. Right. And even though you're 5,000 miles away, I'm going to put this in your hands. And the next thing you know, at a party, we are playing with my fitness product that I've sold 2 million of.
Wow.
You gave me your thumbs and you didn't even know why. This is the power of what I'm talking about. You can actually control the conversation anytime, anywhere that you want. And by the way, you only do it for good. If you've got a product or service that's worthwhile, that you want people to have, don't shove it down their throat. Don't tell them they need this. Make them want it. It's a very unique way of closing deals. And then you get a thank you. I tell people, you don't want an email or money. You want all that. But if you can get a thank you from a customer, you're set for life. And so this is what I'm teaching a whole group of people all around the world, how to engage differently. Nobody taught us this skill. And it's very, very important to me. And I tell the story because I was embarrassed a couple of times because I didn't know this. As a young person, I was very enthusiastic. I knew what I wanted, and I would tell it all to you, and you'd go, that's nice. She talks fast, and it's too much, and you'd walk away. And I'm like, but wait a second. I'm so excited about it. Isn't that good enough? No. So I created a little system, and everybody can use the system. Make sense?
Yep.
So the second thing I talk about is we're talking about privilege, right? Now everyone thinks, oh, that person's got privilege, that person. Let me tell you something. Nobody, unless you've got massive cash in your pocket, is born with privilege. Got it? Doesn't care. I don't matter who you are, how old you are, what color you are. Privilege doesn't exist like that. It's kind of a myth. You make your own opportunities, okay? How do I know that? That's been my story. So people say, well, Forbes, look at you. You're kind of cute. I actually should show you the picture. At 8 years old, I had a baseball bat hit me in the nose. I had a broken nose, so I was like 15 years old. It was weird off the side of my face. I had braces for 8 years. I had very frizzy hair, and my mom was 260 pounds, and I was kind of chunky. I was bullied. I was made fun of. And the weirdest part is I was very smart. So that means I didn't talk to kids my own age. I talked to teachers all the time. I remember hanging out with the principal, Kilroy, doing linguistics in 2nd grade. Okay, you're just weird. And you know what that made me as a little girl? Really unhappy and really lonely and ugly. Oh, yay for me, right? Then my dad put his hand in a printing press. He had a bad accident when I was 15. He spent 3 years in the hospital, 15 operations to rebuild his hand. Every day after school, I didn't even know we had a baseball team. I went to the hospital. But there's funny things about it. If you believe like I do, that life happens for you, not to you.
Yep.
So we had a tiny little house, 1 bathroom, 3 bedrooms. And I don't think we noticed. My family was very loving. And I do say that makes a big difference for me, but we didn't have any money. But there was one house in town I used to have to drive past on the way to the orthodontist every week. And it had all these big green trees. You kind of see that there was a big mansion back there. And I was intrigued by this. Well, odds are, when my dad was in the hospital, his room overlooked that house. Funny, right? So now I look down on this house. It was a massive, giant brick house with a circular driveway and 2 chimneys. And I just kept thinking, wow, what's dinner like in that house? At Halloween, do they give out full candy bars? Do they have like Christmas? We didn't have a chimney. They have like 2 chimneys. And my Christmas must be so cool there. Yeah. And that stayed in my head. And it started to percolate this whole notion I have that if you dream it and you believe it, you can achieve it. When I got to New York City after college, I found myself, I just answered an ad. I ended up working for the Graces, W.R. Grace. They were a billionaire family. I lived in their tiny little guest quarters. I was the social secretary. And I had no idea what I was doing, but I could BS my way really well. And I organized their dinners and their schedules. And I was so naive. And they loved that. They thought I was just adorable. And all I wanted to do was do soap opera work. And I ended up being on a soap opera oh, that's so cute. She's on television. And they were very, very, my billionaire godparents, right? And one day, Mrs. Grace, we're in the car, and she turns to me and she said, you need to go get Louis Vuitton out of the trunk. And I'm like, who's in the trunk? And she looked at me and she said, oh, you'll learn. And I said, you know what? I will. I'm going to understand what the world is like outside of my little town on Long Island where we were all kind of the same, very blue collar. I didn't actually know what a CEO even meant until I was in my late 20s. Not the world that I lived in. I'm grateful for how I grew up because I have very strong morals, integrity, and I understand what a dollar is, and I understand people who have no money. It makes me very compassionate in a way that I think if I was born with a silver spoon, I might not be. And I love that I can put a foot in both worlds. I know how to dress. I know how to buy. I know so many things now. And now at my age, having 2 beautiful 17-year-old twins, I feel compelled to teach other people what the world can be. I never want to hear somebody say, I can't afford it. You have no idea what you can afford and can't afford, but I know what you can't afford to miss most things. And you do, because that's what I did. I was 31 years old. I was at a party and I'm an actress. I mean, I'm on Broadway. I'm doing movies. I got it going on. And in fact, I'm also kind of the backdoor queen. When things didn't work fast enough, I created miracles. You need an agent in New York. I'd already been on Broadway. I'd already starred in my first film called Splatter University. And I still couldn't get a great agent. They're hard to get. And finally, I said, you know what? Screw it. I don't need an agent. I created a company called Creative Management for Artists, CMA, and I hired a woman named Lindsay Maxwell. And Lindsay sounded an awful lot like this. I was Lindsay Maxwell. You want to book Forbes? Oh, she's a wonderful actress. She just finished starring in Splatter University, and you must see it. I know you never. I thought, you know what? I got more jobs being my own manager. For years, I did that. And I never, Ron, until like last year, I never told anybody because I didn't want to be called a liar. I didn't want to be called a fake. But it didn't matter. I got what I wanted. I ended up doing a lot of work. Yay, right? Because I didn't wait. I didn't wait for permission from people who I didn't actually value. I got on Broadway with Christopher Reeve, and I won't tell the whole story now, but in a whole backdoor way, but I got it. And that's what most people don't understand. They're like, well, you're so privileged. No, really? Really? I went off to Club Med on vacation. I can't sing. That's one of the things I don't do well. But I'm a great dancer and I can lip sync. Well, Club Med, they actually do lip syncing. And I fell in love with that environment. And I'm like, how do I get to do this? And I didn't have mentors back then. I just made stuff up. I knocked on the door of Club Med. I said, hi, I'm here to help you guys. I'm sorry, we're a company. I know. Can I see the vice president in charge of entertainment? You guys don't do it very well. Yeah, you're a French-run company and the Americans don't really get your sense of humor. And I think I have some ideas for you that you ought to listen to. That's exactly what I said. And I'm sitting in Tom Shelley's office and he's like, And then he said to me, well, how long could you go away for? I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, funny that you should say about this entertainment, but in Sonora Bay in Mexico, we don't have an entertainer guy. He kind of just quit. And we'd love you to go can you fill in for like 3 weeks on the beach? I'm like, yeah, I'm there. I packed my bags and I went. Now, not only did I go though, I said one more thing. I wanted to be a game show host. Well, that's ridiculous, Forbes, because there are no female game show hosts. No, in fact, you know why? Because they don't know how to dress them. There's a lot of guys wearing khaki pants and blue blazers like you've ever seen in the dating game and the newlywed game. They all wear the same thing. You put a girl in a fancy dress and she has to stand in the back like Vanna White and never say anything, or like she's the Price Right girl and we never hear from them as sexy girls. So I wanted a job that didn't even really exist. So I go down to Club Med and I brought a whole bunch of game show ideas. Now, this is wacky. Nobody said I could do this. I get to the club and I introduce myself to everybody, not as somebody who just got hired and an actress. I said, hey guys, I was sent from New York to help create some entertainment and to fill some gaps in your schedule. At 4 o'clock, I want to do the Hollywood Squares and you're going to build me this kind of a set. And on Tuesdays at 5 o'clock, we're going to do the dating game. And I told them exactly what I wanted. And you know what? I got it. For weeks, I got to do that until the CEO of Club Med came down to find out who this crazy girl was that was running their club. Can you close the door, Stace? So I don't know about you, but I don't ask for permission very well.
Yeah.
Now, have I gotten everything in life? No, because sometimes I'm a real chicken. Sometimes I get a little scared by my own wants. I still haven't met Oprah. I cannot believe that she is not coming to me going, Forbes, how do I get to SpinGym? So if you know Oprah or you have a connection to Oprah, she should know me. I'm on television. I just haven't put that one together because sometimes I do get nervous. And sometimes that little girl inside me gets like, oh. So just so you, and anyway, that's part of my story.
Nice. That's an amazing part of your story. But I like how you talked about, you know, there is some talk going on. We don't have to get into it about being privileged. But for me, it's more about taking that action. You know, you decide you want something in life. You have an idea. And some people will sit back with that idea and they won't act on it. And other people will go out and act on it. And you did. You took the massive action and you made it happen. You know, that's, you know, success and failure. You'll see people who are 5, 10 years, you'll see people who are massively successful, but that's 5, 10, 15 years after they started. You didn't see all the trials, tribulations, failures, insecurities, and all the other stuff in the background. So I love the fact that you share that. It just, I think it just makes it more like one of us, you know what I mean? Because you are on a pedestal up there in terms of your accomplishments have been outstanding.
Okay, I'm going to tell you that one of the best things that happened to me was prejudice. Okay, get this. And I'm going to go pretty public with this at some point because I don't know if you know that I raised a little kid from South Central. My son was black. From age 8, I had him for 12 years before he was murdered. Okay, my family was on the cover of the LA Times because it was my wedding photo. He was my best man. When I was 10 years old, I was in 5th grade. They came to us one day and they said, everybody with brown eyes has to stay after school and clean up the garbage and do this extra work. And everybody with blue and green eyes gets to go home. I have hazel eyes. I'm like, well, they're kind of green. And they're like, no, you have brown eyes. You have to stay behind and you have to pick up all the garbage. Well, this didn't settle with me very well. And I was only 10 years old. And it was kind of political. And this went on for a week. And it got really nasty and really bad about who the kids with brown eyes and the kids with blue and green eyes. The end of the week, they put us in an auditorium and they wanted, and I mean, we're protesting. I remember what that felt like. And they said, well, how does it feel? I'm like, what do you mean? It feels terrible, blah, 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 blah. Well, I grew up in a very white area in the 60s and 70s, Long Island, where it was Jews and Italians, pizza, pasta, and matzah. There was nobody black in my community. So they made a point. They said, how does it feel? I said, it feels terrible. And they said, well, guess what? You can't change the color of your eyes. And there's a lot of people in this country who can't change the color of their skin. Ron, you know, that happened to me when I was at such an impressionable age that I became very colorblind because I know how bad it felt to be made to feel bad for something that it wasn't even my fault, the color of my eyes, right? Wow. But then there were some funny things that happened. One thing that happened is that when blue contacts came out in New York City, I was in my 80s, it was the 80s, I actually wanted to get blue contacts because somewhere in the back of my head, I thought maybe blue is better. Do you hear that misconception? So we all have our own set of beliefs. I would ask everybody who's challenging that I don't think anybody has an advantage in life. Again, unless you're born with $1 million in your pocket, congratulations for you. The rest of us are out there trying to figure it out like all of us. And I raised Dexter and I went to I was the only white face in church whenever we went to church. And that was fine. I was very good with it. I don't know that everybody else was, but who cares? I had a blast and I loved that little boy very much. And my responsibility to him was to show him how big he could be in this world. He didn't live to see Obama be president, which is the thing that I regret the most, because I don't think he ever really believed that he could be anything he wanted. And that was really sad. And then on a Sunday, walking from haircut to church, by himself right outside USC, one of the richest schools in the country, a kid who wanted to get into a gang, who grew up 2 blocks away from him, who didn't have a mentor, who didn't have somebody like me or my family or somebody care about him other than a gang member. And he was charged with finding somebody wearing a blue shirt to kill him. And that was my boy. Now, here's the thing about that story, is that you never know. Is your son walking around in a blue shirt? Or, I mean, you don't, it was so random and so heart-shattering, but it speaks volumes to how we treat each other. Here was the biggest problem. I love that everyone is kind of yelling and screaming. You know what's not getting reformed? The police don't need as much reform as the teachers do. How about we pay our teachers more? How about we raise our next generations of children to be better educated? How about we make the school? My kids go to a high school now that's like falling apart. They were in a private school for a while, and I said, guys, private school is good for a little while, but you have to experience, I'm a public school grad. You need to understand the world. And I've taught in that school, and it's horrible. And the teachers are not very respectful. And the kids aren't respectful, and it's horrible. And that's the mentality that our kids that we're producing. So of all the protesting, nobody's saying anything about that. Maybe because we all only have kids in school for maybe 17 or 18 years of our whole adult life. But we forget. And I will tell you, those jobs and those people who are feeding the minds of our future should be better taken care of. Do you agree?
Oh, 100%. And because that is our future. And what we can instill now, a lot of the problems we have here now, if we can start change at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, as it comes up, we might not be able to just solve everything here and now, but if we work at it here, still try to resolve what we can here and make everybody livable, right? But we get the real change from here. So as time goes on and these people age out and die, as people come up, absolutely. And my girlfriend's a teacher too, so I'm a big fan of teachers.
There is no, by the way, this is the platform, because I listened to Whoopi Goldberg was talking this morning, and she's sad about people burning down buildings and stores of people who've worked their whole lives for this. And that really creates nothing. So like, what are we supposed to do? And I'm going to say that we have to go back and look at education, because it's wrong. Every aspect of education is wrong right now. We are still teaching in the 1800s. We had one schoolroom. Everybody sat in a chair and we did this. We're still doing that. Nothing from the 1800s is the same except education, right? Our phones, our transportation, our clothes, nothing is the same except this archaic way that we teach kids sitting here. And if they rustle around, we give them pills because they're unruly. I remember I have twins. My son was in 2nd grade, and his teacher kept turning out the lights because the kids had to behave. And I'm like, girlfriend, my son is 7 or 8 years old. They're boys. They don't sit for more than 8 minutes. And why should they? Maybe you ought to adapt the way you teach to who our kids are now. Then my daughter says something. She says, Mom, I'm getting tired of all these people putting teenagers down. Teenagers don't know anything. She said, she said, teenagers are told you know everything. Well, you know what? She's, Mom, I do know everything. You give me 5 minutes and a cell phone and I will find anything that you want. That's not our generation. It's crazy what they can do. My daughter makes more money and has for the last 3 years by building funnels and other things online, like $5,000 a month clients. She is being herded into a class. This happened last year. The teacher got mad and called me in. She said, your daughter is not being very understanding. I'm like, what? She's like, we're doing resumes so that she can get a job when she leaves high school or college. And I'm like, well, I said, but my daughter doesn't need a job. Oh yeah, everybody needs a job. And I'm like, wow, girlfriend, I don't actually think so. I've never had a job and I own the shopping mall across the street from your school. Well, what do you mean? I said, because I don't own it. I don't have a job. And my daughter's never going to, and then my daughter's like, Mom, please don't get me kicked out of school. I said, she's like, here's the deal. She actually said to her teacher finally in frustration, I'm not going to have a job. I may graduate college, but I'm probably going to make too much money that I'm going to have to drop out of Stanford. Is that okay with you? And everybody here gets to work for me. I'm like, oh my God. That is not a conversation that is even, what 17-year-old does that online all by herself? She had no help from me. In fact, I didn't know what she was doing half the time.
Yep.
We honor and respect that.
Yep.
But we invite people to spend $100,000 to $200,000, be in debt the rest of their life to go to a 4-year university like I did to learn political science that I've never used.
Yeah.
When does this get to change?
Yeah, I agree with you. The system's definitely broken. And how many classes do they have in high school or college that deal with entrepreneurism or actual business owner stuff from an actual business owner, not someone who's read a book? So,
So in case you haven't noticed, I'm on fire.
Yeah.
I'm on fire. I teach. I know I am. I'm going to tell you two things that I teach, and I'll go toe to toe with anybody that you'll ever meet in the world. There's very few people who can pitch at the level that I do. I don't even know how I did this, but I started back with Body by Jake. We created a network called Fit TV, and I pitched 1,500 different products. Like I said, the infomercials and all the billions that I've created for people come out of this ability to pitch, to hear what people say like music. And I can teach that. Not only sometimes I teach it, sometimes I just give it to you. So I'm going to ask you one more time, Ron. We'll go around. What do you do?
Oh, you scared me last time. What do I do? I teach people like you how to make an extra $100,000.
You know what? Nope. Never take the, first of all, nobody wants to learn. So take out the teach. Here's what I want for you. And Ron, I only know a little bit of what you do, but you might want to say Forbes. As somebody who's helped thousands of entrepreneurs get their dreams come true because they don't really understand the internet, I take their struggles away from them and make money for them overnight. Is that something that might interest you? Do you do that?
Yes. Forbes, I have helped many business owners and entrepreneurs who don't really understand the internet and the power of the internet and the income they can make from the internet. I take that fear and knowledge, lack of knowledge away from them. I provide it to them and they make a ton of extra money. Would that be something you'd be interested in?
Do you know how engaged I am right now? How much I want what you have? It's a different way of looking at this conversation. Yeah, I love that idea because that is designed to help people because people right now are suffering and struggling. If you can help anyone through the internet make more money, we love you. But it's a different way of answering the question. And that's what I teach. And actually I do have an offer for you guys, and I'm going to do something crazy. I'm not going to give it away for free. You know why? Because you guys don't show up. Well, you guys don't show up for free. It's a funny thing. But I will tell you, if you got a $20 in your pocket, you give me 19, I'll give you $1 for a cup of coffee. Oh, they don't even have coffee anymore. So I started teaching this thing, and we've got hundreds of people every Sunday at 5 o'clock. I teach a thing called the Pitch Secrets Masterclass. It's $19. And my theory on that is if you don't want to contribute $19, I don't want to talk to you. Sound fair? We actually even set up a fund because I have a class that we do after that where I get you to perfect being on camera. You and I are on camera right now, right? And I'm sure you've interviewed a lot of guests and have a lot of different feelings about, wow, I got to pull stuff out of them, right?
Yes, a couple.
Right. But this is because number one, they don't know who they're talking to. Ron, who are you talking to right now?
I'm talking to Forbes Riley.
Yes. And who else?
Everybody who's listening.
Right. But it's not everybody. When you talk through a camera, you talk on a Facebook Live, you're not yelling at the audience or you're talking to one person who's got concerns, who's got stress, who maybe be able to use your help. And I always think about that as I'm listening, as I'm talking to you, I'm thinking of the woman sitting there who's like, God, if I could just make some more money and get my kids to Disneyland. Or the guy who's like, I haven't had a vacation in years. I work hard. My boss doesn't like me. I'm talking to that person. And hopefully one of the many nuggets that I put forth inspires them to take action. And that's exciting. And then come on, and you should come too at 5 o'clock on Sunday. And one of the things that we came out of this is that I then teach a very exciting class called Crush It on Camera. And by the way, you want any of this information, go to Facebook. We have a thing called the Inner Circle. It's one of the most active, engaging groups of people that you will ever meet. You know why? Because I demand that. I decided, I've only done it for the last month. I said, I'm tired of all the things that don't work for me. You get what you tolerate. I have dealt with too many people that I no longer want to talk to or engage with or help. I want to help people who want to be helped through on. Now, by the way, you don't even have to have money. I was going to tell you a story at the beginning of this conversation. I was 31 years old, was at a party, and these guys were like, oh, my friends don't really like you. You know why they didn't like me? I was aggressive. If they weren't in the movie business, I just didn't even want to talk to them. And I don't drink, so it doesn't make me any nicer to be at a party. So he said, but there's this training that you should go to. And I was like, what? He said, yeah, it's kind of a breakthrough training and it's $400. Now this is in the 80s. And my first reaction, Ron, was like my first reaction always was, oh, I can't afford that. Well, of course I could afford it. I just bought something else for 400. I just didn't want to, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know it would have any value to me. And then I was very suspicious because when you don't grow up with money, you think people who give you money want something. They might. And so I'm like, all right, you give me $400 to take this class, right? And what do you want? Because I'm thinking, what, he was going to want to sleep with me. That's how twisted my set of beliefs were. And he's like, I don't want anything from you. I want you to enjoy. Now, that was the first thing that put a crack in my belief system. I'm like, why would you do that? And he said, because the world gets to be better when everybody's better. And I'm like, okay, I didn't believe any of that when I heard it. I go to this training and it's wonderful. It's 5 days. On the way out of the training, they try to enroll you into the advanced training. It was $900. I get him on the phone. I'm like, hi, I told you. All I want to do is sell you more. And he's like, didn't you have a great experience? I'm like, yes, but you see how I couldn't hear it because I was so closed off?
Yep.
He says, look, Forbes, the advanced will change your life forever, but I'm not going to pay for it. I will, however, give you a loan. You pick out the terms. And I'm like, okay, how about $100 a month for 9 months, no interest? He said, sure. Okay. Ron, God is my witness. The Saturday night of that training in 1989 was one of the greatest nights of my entire life. I will never forget what happened that night. Now that's up there with getting married, having babies, talking on your show. It changed my life forever. The way they pushed me to find out something about myself, the music, everything they did, the environment, it was something and by the way, I hated it going through it. I won't tell the story now, but it made me so uncomfortable and it pushed every button that I am. But I am here today helping other people because of that one moment almost 28 years ago. So I'm going to ask you listening, if you keep doing what you're always doing, you will get what you've always gotten. You just listen to me talk for a while, you hear great guests on Ron's show, enroll, take a risk, and realize there's things out there that you don't even realize. And by the way, while I'm still doing this, I just went to see Tony Robbins. I'd never actually seen him either. He charges like $20,000. I went to his because I thought at least I should meet him one time before, he's getting older. You can't do this forever. And it was it was worth it because what you invest in yourself comes back to you. So we have a training for $1,000. There was a woman the other night who said, now she showed up, she did a whole bunch of things, but she's like, I can't continue. I got a son that I take care of and I can't. And she was so sad about it. She wasn't complaining. And one of the guys on the Zoom call said, Forbes, if you'll take half, I will pay it for her. And we enrolled her. That's the kind of charity that I'm up to. People who want to step in and step up.
Yep.
Don't say, gimme, gimme, gimme. Show up and offer to give first and watch what happens in your life.
Yep. I believe that wholeheartedly. Serve, don't sell. When I started using that mentality several years ago, my whole business, my life got better. It was a total different conversation when I was dealing with the individual clients because, like you said, when you're selling them, they got the negative tapes going on in their heads. But when you're there serving them, it's a totally different conversation. You're engaging. You're attracting them now into your life, and they want to do business with you. They want to learn more about you, who you are, and what you can do. So I love it.
It's funny. You said that earlier in what you do. You said that you'll actually offer somebody a month of your services so they can see what you do. And when it's as good as you say, they're hooked forever.
Yep.
I have now encountered a lot of these I'm an agency owner. Give me $5,000 and I'll do something for you. And they're kind of like belligerent about it. And I've done that a couple of times and I never got anything. Who pays before the service? Who pays before the meal is eaten? So and by the way, beware of people who do want to do that to you. I've been burned to the tune of a lot of money and a lot of heartache because I was very, very, very trusting. I would be trustful, but verify, do your research, talk to clients who've been before. And when anybody wants too much money, just don't give it to them. One of my girls just invested in some deal overseas and she just lost her house because she invested $300,000 with a guy she'd never met.
Wow.
Just all sounded good, right? So just be mindful. There are people out there like Ron, like myself, who are advocates that you don't get screwed over. And for $19, come and spend a Sunday with me for 2 hours and see what you can learn. Yeah. And I will tell you but I also, in that class, last night we did it, we get people to make money in class. I get people to make 100, 500. I show you techniques that you've never heard of before. Well, not only did you get to pay for the class, but you made money in my class? Yeah. My goal is to be completely different and exciting and more unique than anyone you've ever met because I have a name like Forbes Riley. It has to be unique.
I love it. Forbes. And we know it right off the bat because it's like the magazine. Right off the bat, it comes with uniqueness.
Thank you. So is there anything else that you want to know about me? I talk too much. Ask me a question.
No, you talk amazing. But yeah, definitely. When you first started, how did you, I mean, you've sold 2.5 billion. There's no way that you could have conceived, or maybe you did. Maybe there was some big, awesome plan you had in your mind, but could you have conceived the amount of success that you would have had in the amount of people that you have touched? And how could other people, I mean, not maybe hit the exact same numbers, but if you were somebody brand new, what would it be? What would be a question that they would ask you? And what would be something that they could do to increase their chances of success?
I would have never imagined that it would actually come true, but I wanted it. I had a feeling inside of me that I was special. Most of the nights I was lonely, I was ugly, I was weird, and I led a very odd life. I dreamed a lot. I watched a lot of TV. I fantasized a lot about what it was like to be walking the red carpet at the Oscars or traveling through Europe, or actually, when I was little, I wanted to be James Bond. I've had very interesting wants. The only thing that I've ever done better than everybody else is want it so bad. Okay? So, and I know this because people will ask me questions like, well, Forbes, if I want this, but I'm finding I'm very distracted by social media, then you don't want it. What you don't understand is that when you want something so bad, nothing else exists. You go through hell and you keep on going. I have a fitness product here that I was on a reality TV series called Pitchmen. After 5 months of working my butt off, they edited it and aired it, and it basically made fun of me and made me cry and told me that this would never work. And they edited things that were very hurtful, and you can see it on YouTube. The next morning, I walked with a whole group of my friends in a big arena. I woke up the next morning and 5,000 people on YouTube were bitching at me. What had happened was I sell this product for a certain price, and they wanted me to say a much, much lower price, like $9.99, if they ever wanted to get rid of the inventory. And I'm like, I legally can't do that. I have an agreement with somebody. I can't do that. And reality cameras are filming this. And then they showed me a plastic version of my product and said, well, we'll just sell this. And I said, no, I'm not putting my name on a piece of cheap plastic crap that you're selling for $9.99. Well, they edited that. So what America saw was me saying, oh, I would never sell anything for $9.99. Well, that's a very different statement. And people went to town on me for this. It wasn't real. Didn't mean it didn't hurt. The next morning, my partner rolls over and he says, so what are you going to do now? And I said, we're going to sell SpinGyms. And he said, but nobody thinks it's going to work. And I said, they're wrong. He said, they can't all be wrong. And Ron, I said, but they are. And for the next couple of years, I woke up every morning with what I call the FU School of Business. I'll just say, screw you. Screw you. You're wrong. I'm going to show you. Screw you. I'm going to work harder. And every single day for years, 2 years, I have videos after video. I can't explain to you how obsessed I became to make this work. Do you know that my best day on home shopping, I sold 64,000 of these in 24 hours on live home shopping and got a check for $1.2 million for 24 hours. Okay? Who was right and who was wrong? So I'm going to tell you something. If you want something, then go. You need two things to get it. One, you have to really want it. You can't be, I just want to travel the world. That's not a want. And number two, you have to have a why. Why is this important to you so much that you will have your head bashed in and keep on going? There's a video of me at US Customs when they wanted to throw out 48,000 units of my product because there was a little issue on a DVD trademark thing. It required me just blacking it out with a little magic marker. For 6 days, standing on a concrete floor, you're not ruining my business. We blacked out 48,000 DVDs. And I look at the girl, I look at myself through the video and go, this girl is unstoppable. She's not letting anybody tell her what to do.
Exactly.
All I'm telling you, know what privilege is? Light a fire under your ass and go for it. I watched Michael Jordan's the series The Last Dance. Did you watch this?
No.
I didn't even know much about basketball, but I know about winners. You should watch it. It's a 10-part series. There's a lot of players out there. There's only one Michael Jordan. And by the way, he may not be the very best player ever, but he wanted it more than anybody. And you watch the determination over and over again, how he would go into a game when he was sick as a dog and still scored the winning point. You know why? He was going to win. And he also, you can feel him, he brought his team up. When other people like Rodman and guys wanted to go party and play because they were already rich and famous, he's like, no, it's about the game. You win. And if you key into that mentality, you don't have to live that every day of your life, but pick a project and get it. Go for it. By the way, it feels really good to win once. You know, you only have to win the gold medal one time and forever you're a gold medalist. You only have to have sold this one time that much and forever you're a rock star. One best-selling book. Most people never risk that because it sounds, oh, it's just too hard.
Yep.
You know what hard is?
No.
Hard is living with the regret of I could have done that. I should have been this. Why didn't I? So I teach people how to do two things. So I know, Ron, we're going to go in a couple of minutes, but I'm going to ask you a question. Let's see you play the game since you're my only audience right now. There's only two rules to the what do you want game. You can't say I don't know, and you can't repeat your answer. Ready?
All right. All right.
All right. And I have your permission to make you even more successful than you are, right?
All right. But remember, I can edit this.
Yes. All right. So, Ron, what do you want?
An ice cream sundae. What do you mean? What do I want in life or business?
What do you want?
I want to connect with many people who are massively connected, JV with them, prove myself to them.
That's nice, Ron. What do you want? Don't think about it. Just say, what do you want?
Freedom.
What do you want?
Freedom.
Remember the two rules. You can't repeat twice, and don't you dare edit that out. You can't say I don't know, and you can't repeat your answer. What do you want?
Happiness.
What do you want?
Peace inside.
Do you not have that?
No.
What do you want? It's a good game. Go. What do you want?
Peace.
Oh, second time you said the same thing twice.
I know.
No. Lean back in here. Here's my teaching. The game didn't look that hard on the surface, did it?
No.
But it is. The truth is when you want something. So two things that you said. And guys, you need to leave this in because it's very important because you answer a lot the way a lot of people do. It's not actionable and definable. And as somebody who's successful as you are, the first one you started saying was rambling on like a story. What do you want should fuel you all the time. Okay? When you say freedom, I got to look at you and go, are you free? You're in America. Nobody's got chained you to a wall. Define it. Define what you want. I call it Grubhub. Actually, here, I have a little book I can give your audience for free. I think if you go to Forbes Riley Handbook, you can get this for free.
Okay.
I have a thing called the Grubhub principle. Call up Grubhub. Hey, Grubhub. Yes, ma'am. What do you want? Well, I'm hungry. I want some food. That's nice, ma'am. What do you want? I want, I don't know, maybe I want a hamburger. No, I had a hamburger yesterday. I would like, how about Chinese? No, I don't want, and they hang up on you. So the angels just listen to you and they're like, I don't know what he said. He wanted freedom. I don't know. He wanted whatever. I don't know. How can they give you what you want if you can't even articulate it? Hey, Grubhub. Yes, ma'am. What do you want? I want a Caesar salad, extra chicken croutons on the side. 15 minutes later, do you know what shows up at your door? A Caesar salad, extra chicken croutons on the side. How did they know? Because you told them. You, my friend, who are very successful right now in what you do, had a tough time just articulating to the universe what you want. Now, to be fair, I've played this game a lot. I didn't do well my first 20 times either. Okay?
I wasn't sure about the context on
No, Ron, lean in for a second. You're never sure about the context in life. Don't bother asking. That's the thing that most people don't know. I just said, what do you want? You wanted to play it right. You wanted to get it right. You play by the rules. Screw it. She just asked the question. I should answer it. This is how I've been successful in life. I didn't bother to ask the second question. I don't really care. I'm going to play it. If I'm wrong, you'll tell me. Got it? You want to color inside the lines. That's why I asked the question exactly the way I do it to see if you're one of those kind of guys. Well, do I do it this way? I didn't ask that. I just said, what do you want? And then you get to see how courageous somebody is. It's a weird moment. It puts people on the spot. And I do that for a reason, because it should be in your head and in your heart all the time. You said, I want to affect many people. I'm on a mission to get 10 million people to learn how to pitch so they can get whatever they want. I'll know when I get to 10 million. You'll never know when you get too many. See the difference?
Yep.
I want to make more money. Well, here's $1. Well, no, I didn't mean that. But you said, I want to make more money. No, but I want $1 million. Then say it. It takes courage to say that. It takes a lot of courage to say, I'm going to make $10,000 a month. Well, great. You know what? If you told me that, I would then give you a plan, because I talk about begin with the end in mind in this book. How do you do that? You know, how you make $10,000 a month? It's easy. You go up to 10,000 people and ask them for $1. Done. Oh, well, but I don't know 10,000 people. Okay, then go up to 1,000 people and ask them for $10. People don't think that way, right? I'm always asking people to think this way. This is how successful people think. You want to hang out with unsuccessful people? Yeah. I want freedom. I want to travel. I want to touch people's lives. Do they ever do any of those things?
No.
You want to get something done? Give it to somebody who's busy and successful already. But now I'm going to ask you one more question, and this is a little troubling. When you said you wanted, because there's layers to this. I know, you're like, I did an interview. Got a whole therapy.
Add more water. I'm dehydrated. I got the headlights on me and everything. But
Ron, I adore you. I adore you for wanting to do this and play along with me. But I am really on a mission to positively affect people to stop playing small. It takes, you're a mighty river. It takes so much energy to change the direction of people. And that's what I'm doing. So the last thing was a little troubling for me is you said you wanted peace inside, but you don't have it. Why not?
I haven't figured out how to get it.
Well, that's an interesting conundrum. I know how you can get it. Want to come play with me?
Yeah.
Because someone like you who has this much influence with 1.7 million listeners, you shouldn't be sitting in that place. And there is a way, there's a system, and I call it the breakthrough. And I do it every couple of months. And you're going to private message me, and I'm going to invite you to come to the next ones on June 26th and 27th. And I guarantee that you'll find what you're looking for. If not, 100% money back. Interesting food for thought, isn't it?
Very interesting.
I'm tired of seeing people suffer. I'm tired of people seeing anybody playing small. Let me tell you something. You are way too powerful and important on this planet to not have all that ironed out. But I don't know where people go. At some point, I will never write the book, but in my head, I'd love to, called Secrets Therapists Don't Want You to Know. Freud and Jung had their head up their ass, get off the couch and into your life. Because in about 20 minutes, going through a little thing that we do, we unravel things that happen in people's pasts that are holding them from an amazing future. And with that, I'm not going to say any more because you're going to come play with me on June 26th, and I'm going to get some SEO things in return. Deal?
We'll talk about that for sure, because I definitely want to do some work for you just to earn your referrals.
I would love to. That is the thing that I'm best at. I've got 1.5 million followers on my Facebook. I love referring people who work. That's what I do. By the way, 2.5 billion just represents that I've referred people's products to other people. Give people what they want. They want to lose weight, make money, have more fun, enjoy their family. If you have systems, I want to help people get them.
I love it.
There you go. We're on a little bit of a mission here. So that is, I'll give you the link for that. You guys can download that completely for free. It's very, very valuable. And then find me on Forbes Riley Inner Circle. We are there. We are fun. We are engaging. We're about uplifting. It's the most amazing group of people I've ever put together. I'm having the time of my life. And I'm doing it with my family and my friends and my whole team here. Stacy, come here for a second. Come say hi again on the show. Come here. Stacy, come over here, right here. Stacy has been through some of my trainings, and Stacy's now on board. She's in charge of all my web world and all the things that she's doing. Stacy, say hi to Ron.
Hi, Ron.
So
Hi, Stacy.
I kind of put him on the spot. How did that feel to you?
He definitely needs to go through the breakthrough. It really changed my life when I did it. I had a lot of limiting beliefs, and doing the 3-day intensive course with her it truly changed my whole outlook, even my personality. I can speak of my past without having emotional ties to it now. And
I would actually be really daring and go very specific. You can speak about what?
My father's suicide. So he committed suicide in 1979 after Vietnam. So I'm a product of 22 a day. And before I worked with Forbes, I was not able to talk about it without emotion. And
I'm going to interrupt you for a second. Every time she would mention her father, we were actually just sitting here one day and she would just start to well up and start to cry. It happened 40 years ago. And the question that bothers me is that at what point do you get to embrace this and move on and let it fuel you, not drag you down? And we went through something, right? You came out the other side, and now what happened? What happened with your name because of this?
Yeah, it has changed me so much that I decided to go back to my maiden name, which is Stacy Grant. So I'm going back to my roots and honoring him, and really going to change my whole platform and what I wanted to bring to the world before.
And so because before she couldn't talk about it, and now she's got a platform with the help of her love of her dad, because there's a lot of people out there suffering. There's people who will commit suicide because they can't handle what they've seen. And there's kids who are left behind who are made to feel guilty. And one of the things that she's come to understand is that everybody does the very best they can. It was not her fault. And in fact, I'm sure if her dad realized what he would have missed if he hadn't been in so much pain, he would never have left. So she gets to love him. We get to love him.
Yes.
And feel him, and then help some other, one of our friends, 18 years old, just jumped in front of a car and killed himself because people don't have a way out. There's not a lot of positivity running around. And if two cute girls can do that, start loving on people, start giving them hope, start helping them make money, love their bodies, love their differences, love whatever it is. I mean, you turn on the news, you can get all the hate you want. Man, we serve it up daily. And I don't want people just giving it to you on Sunday with a lot of strings attached, because if you're not good, you're going to hell. I don't know if I believe in all that, but what I do believe is Monday through Saturday, I got you.
Nice. I love it. Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, thank you very much. My closing thoughts are, share this. Tell people that there's somebody out there who's thinking differently and whose mission right now is to help you. Stop playing small. It was fun to watch Ron's face when he had a moment of going, It's kind of a light under people. What would you do if anything was possible? That's a thought I ask people all the time. If you could do anything, and here's the weird thing, Ron, it doesn't cost anything to dream, but most of us never dream big enough. So my advice to you is reach out, stay connected, and thank you, by the way, for doing a show like this. You were incredibly honest about this. I don't know if it made you feel a little uncomfortable. I think it did, but I think you just touched people in a way that maybe you've never done, and for that, I'm very proud of you. I don't know you that well, but I watched this huge heart of yours like wash all over you.
Well, I thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I just didn't know the context and stuff. But
and no, here's the beautiful thing. Nobody ever does. You, my friend, are as successful as you are because you use a certain portion of your brain. You're organized, way more organized than I'll ever be. You're smart. And that's the part of your brain you want to get it right. Well, thank God for you, because you're going to make my SEO better. I am very colorful and flighty and don't have a whole lot of rules. And consequently, I can't find my phone 5 times every day. Let me tell you something. There's room on this planet for both. See how the little frame puts us both together?
Yep.
We need each other. And that's the most exciting thing, is to be open enough to go, I have all kinds of things I don't do well that I need help with. I was afraid growing up to tell people that I needed help. And I suffered because of that. I was taught that if you asked for help, you weren't enough. If you asked for help, you weren't. And so consequently, I would just suffer and not know how to do things. Now, the word vulnerability is my mantra. Let people see. Somebody said that yesterday. Forbes, I love this whole thing. You show up without your makeup on. And I'm like, I know. Sometimes I'll do that now. Not perfect, not even close. And Ron, if you don't fall down and get yourself up, you never know how wonderful it is. People are, I fell down. No. Keep falling down. Keep getting up. Isn't it Rocky who said it's not how many times you get hit, it's how many times you get up after being hit that really counts in life.
I love it. Forbes, you've been amazing. We will be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Everybody.
Ron's like, I don't know what else to say.
I need some more water. But listen, everybody, you've been listening to Forbes Riley. I mean, we just went down a whole different track. Initially, we talked about, you know, her successes with the making a ton of money and teaching people how to do pitches. But then she also helps people have a better understanding of who they are and what they can do and how to better themselves, right? We all have certain sides of us. And if one or more of our sides haven't been addressed, it just makes the whole less whole, so to speak, if you get what I mean. So if you're not familiar with Forbes Riley, I definitely encourage you to get in touch with her. She has a couple of Pitch Secret Masters class. It's $20. It's on Sunday. And she also, you can reach her at Forbes 360, which you see right in front of her. I hope you all have a great day, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.